Good evening. Are you ready, Phoenix? All right. Let's try that again from the top. 3, 2. Good evening. Are you ready, Phoenix? Welcome to the Hall of Dames. The Arizona Derby Dames are the only league offering you fast-paced bank track roller derby in Arizona. I am Old Greg.
And I'm Chingadora. Tonight, we have a doubleheader. Game 1 is the Runaway Brides versus the Coffin Draggers. And Game 2 tonight will be an amazing game featuring your minor assaults and a few hot shots. This game is benefiting our junior team as well as our mentorship program, AZDD and Spire. Both games will be exciting. Some ground rules first. Please, no whistling as it interrupts the game. Please keep in mind when in line for the bathroom that skaters take priority. For the safety of our skaters and yourself, please keep your body parts outside of the track. With that being said, let's get this party started. We are waiting on our regulators to start safety check. Go ahead and cue up their song for intros as well so we can intro our regulators.
All right, as safety checks begin, we would like to introduce to you the team we literally couldn't do this without, because it would be anarchy and rulelessness throughout the bout without these people. It's the regulators. Reffing for the regulators tonight. At head referee, your regulator captain, Lollipop.
Game executioner, Obi-Wan Cannoli.
Jam referee, Hoover Slam.
Jam referee, Meryl Streak.
Front pack, Infidel Castro.
Backpack, Mount Everett.
Outside pack, Ref Boy RD.
Outside pack, Pocket Change.
Penalty tracker, Optical Delusion.
Penalty tracker, Assist Lucifer.
Penalty box admin, Scully Glossbones.
Penalty box admin, Professor McGonagall.
On whiteboard, it's Daddy Mike.
Eye in the sky, Racy Tracy.
Eye in the sky, Bender B. Rodriguez.
On scoreboard tonight, Magnificent Moose.
On stats, Chosen One.
On stats, Freya Hugs.
And the runner tonight, Mini Pacquiao. Show some love to the regulators. It could be the only love they get all night.
On behalf of the regulators, we welcome you to the Hall of Dames. Now let's play some roller derby. We're going to go ahead and queue up our tryouts video. We do have tryouts coming up on January 20th. If anybody in our audience is interested in joining Bank Track Roller Derby, you can go ahead and check out our tryouts on January 20th at 9 a.m. at Great Skate. If you need more information, there are flyers located at the front door.
All right, Derby fans, if you're ready to get this thing underway, we'd like to introduce the teams this evening. Your teams for the first bout, taking the track first, it is your defending league champion, Runaway Brides. Skating tonight for the Brides, number 772, I'll annihilate ya. Number 714, Ash over Teacup. Number 3, Goldie Blocks. Number 623, Hollywood. Number 100, Cryptic Cali. Number size 9, La Chancla. Number 95, Lightning the Queen. Number 13, Little Bo Reap. Number 113, Luxbreaker. Number 192, Milani Mangler. Number 213, Militia. Number 2115, Watermelon. Number 00, your co-captain, Novocaine. And number 1, your captain, Ellie Mayhem. Helping the team on the bench tonight, it's bench coach Cherry Kiss, penalty manager Troy McClure. Not skating tonight, number 1221, Pretty Please, and number 7813, Luna de la Lumbre.
Taking the track now will be your Coffin Draggers. Skating tonight for the Draggers, number 90210, Beverly Kills. Number 616, Craven Cadavers. Number 6553, Devachka DeLarge. Number 8, Ginger Mortis. Number 651, Grace Ventura. Number 27, Laura Stabs. Number 7780, Moxie Mausoleum. Number 1012, Scalatina. Number 7, The Destroyer. Number 217, Vava Doom. Number 1890, Victoria Van Gore. Number 7656, Zombaby. Number 30, Zora La Bruja. Number 23, your co-captain tonight, Tyranny. And number 803, your captain, the Panda Face Killer. Helping the team on their bench tonight, our bench coach, Ridiculous, penalty manager Grantula. Not skating tonight, number 1029, Reckless Rose, and number 101, Devil's Advocate.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem. Tonight's anthem singer is Marcus Lopez. Marcus is 26 years old and a native of Arizona, residing in downtown Phoenix. He enjoys being a musician and in his off time writes epic love poems and teaches a course in underwater basket weaving.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night. banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And it looks like we are ready to get underway with our first bout of the evening. Don't forget to stick around later on tonight for a jam mix-up of minor assaults and hot shots. But right now it's the Brides and the Coffin Draggers. First jam of the night.
We've got Victoria Van Gore taking that jammer line for the Draggers and out first in turn one. Ellie Mayhem close behind her. Draggers doing a great job of keeping a goat in the back while Gore comes up to pick up points and calls the jam.
One point for the Coffin Draggers on the board, and the scoring is officially underway. It looks like we've got Skeletina for the Coffin Draggers. And for the Runaway Brides, it's going to be Cryptic Callie. Down along the inside goes Skeletina, and Skeletina emerges from the pack and is their lead jammer for the Coffin Draggers. Cryptic Callie, half a track behind, is going to try to catch up. Skeletina now approaching the pack. Gets some blocking help from her offense down to the inside. Gets by as many skaters as possible. Calls off the jam.
Looks like the Draggers picked up 3 more points during that jam, bringing their score 4-0. We've got Milani Mangler taking that jammer line for the Brides. And it looks like it's going to be a power jam for the Brides.
Power jam.
With the 4-on-3 pack, Brides advantage. Milani Mangler trying to get out there on that high. Lilu doing a great job of holding Milani to herself there in turn 2. And she's out.
40 seconds left in this power jam. Milani Mangler now coming around on her first scoring pass attempt. Approaching the pack now, looking for some offense, and mid-pack now, and manages to duck her way around that last blocker. That'll be 5 points for the Brides.
Brides delivering some great offense there to help their jammer out here in turn 3. Coming around for some more points.
And Milani Mangler up to the high side through the pack one more time for 5 more points, for a total of 10 for Milani Mangler to get the Brides on the board.
We've got Victoria Van Gore on the jammer line for your Draggers, up against Little Bo Reap for your Brides.
Big collision there at the front of the pack. Little Bo Reap trying to get through. Bowls over that last Coffin Dragger blocker and is out of the pack, and your lead jammer for the Brides. Coffin Draggers still working on getting a jammer free. Nobody wearing that jammer star at the moment. And now out the front of the pack goes Victoria Van Gore and is out of the pack for the Draggers.
Little Bo Reap gets passed, and we've got a lead change. Victoria Van Gore is now your lead jammer for this jam. Out to the front. She's able to break past those last two Brides blockers. Little Bo Reap still behind that 3-wall. Callie delivering a deadly hit to the infield.
Collision there at the front of the pack. Victoria Van Gore running into a solid wall of white jerseys there with 5 seconds to go in the jam. Trying to find her way through. The blockers called out a play. Victoria Van Gore gets by him right just before the whistle.
We've got quite a few penalties on that whiteboard in the infield. Looks like Draggers are going to be down 2 blockers, and the Brides are going to be down 1. 3 on 2.
Looks like we may have had an equipment malfunction. Looks like Little Bo Reap over at the bench now working on a skate, so that explains why the sudden loss of momentum there.
Also appears that the Dragger jammer in that last jam committed a penalty, so she's going to be sitting out. And we've got another power jam for the Brides.
Yet another power jam, and your Brides captain, Ellie Mayhem, is on the jammer line, shouting out blocking assignments to the team, and there's the whistle. Power jam is underway. There's only 2 blockers out there for the Coffin Draggers. Jammer and 2 blockers in the penalty box, so this could be a really good chance for the Brides to build up a lead. As Ellie Mayhem is through and now coming around in her first scoring pass.
Got a very fast pack, but it looks like Al, Lightning, and Nova are trying to keep that Dragger blocker back. Zombaby trapped behind that 3-wall of Bride defense. Those blockers are not letting her out. Nice and slow.
15 seconds to go in the power jam. Here comes Ellie Mayhem one more time. The pack just entering the corner. Trying to get through those 2 blockers, doing what they can. They've got 1 pin behind, though, and it's hard for one blocker to form much of a wall on her own. That's going to do it for the power jam. And we'll wait for the official scoring here. And indeed, 3 completed scoring passes for 15 points for the Runaway Brides. Those 2 power jams have really given the Brides an advantage here in the game. We're going to have an official timeout here, so we'll take a break from the action. 9:39 to go here in the first quarter. Runaway Brides 27, Coffin Draggers 13.
Looks like I see the Brides jammer sitting in the penalty box. We'll see while everybody deliberates and after this timeout ends if the Draggers are going to be getting a power jam at the next whistle.
We'd like to let you know, as always, during breaks in the action about some of our league sponsors. Let's start off with the Lost Dutchman Tattoo. They're a tattoo shop specializing in various styles from realism to traditional. You can customize your own tattoo, and walk-ins are accepted. They're located at 4121 North 19th Avenue. That is the east side of 19th Avenue in the mustard yellow buildings just north of Indian School Road. It's Lost Dutchman Tattoo.
If you are hungry, our locally owned and operated taco truck serving SoCal Baja-inspired cuisine is outside. Off the Hook Taco Truck. They have chicken and vegetarian options available as well. Visit them outside for some delicious food. Looks like we've got Tyranny taking that jammer line for the Draggers in this power jam.
Big clustered pack there in the front straightaway. It looks like Tyranny's trying to find some purchase and find an opening. Twisted around a blocker now, trying to find her way to the outside. Those Brides blockers, though, are professionals. Tyranny now knocked to the ground. A big collision there. Knocked to the dispenses with the blocker herself. Fighting her way to the front of the pack. Blocker there again, but gets around along the inside and is clear of the pack halfway through the power jam. Tyranny puts the jammer star back on.
We got a nice wall in the back of Draggers trying to keep that goat in. Tyranny trying to break past that front wall of defense, collects her points and calls it off.
5 points for Tyranny there on the power jam. It's going to be Milani Mangler for the Runaway Brides, and that is Skeletina for the Coffin Draggers.
Looks like Lightning is sitting in the penalty box. They're going to be down 1 blocker for this jam, 4 on 3. Draggers have the advantage.
Down to the inside. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Skeletina running right on that inside, straight through and out. That other jammer is also out now in turn one as Skeletina approaches to pick up some points for her team.
Skeletina now to the outside, runs into a couple of blockers there at the front end of the pack. That looks like it is Ellie Mayhem and perhaps Novocaine. And Skeletina calls off the jam with Milani Mangler approaching quickly from the back.
Looks like that Brides jammer was able to pick up 3 points during that jam, and Tina picked up 2. We've got Callie taking the jammer line for the Brides up against Victoria Van Gore for the Draggers.
Full pack out there, nobody in the penalty box right now. The two jammers cross, Cryptic Callie down to the inside and bumped off. Hard shoulder there from the pivot of the Coffin Draggers, but Cryptic Callie able to find her way through out of the pack and lead jammer for the Runaway Brides.
She's so fast. I love it. She's coming around to pick up some points for her team. That Draggers jammer having a hard time to break past those last Brides in the front. Victoria Van Gore delivering a hit to Hollywood to sending her down.
Pair of big collisions there right in front of the fans in the back straightaway. Cryptic Callie approached that back wall of the Coffin Draggers and said, I'm just going to do this the wrecking ball way.
I see Ellie Mayhem taking the jammer line for the Brides, but I also see Cryptic Callie going to the penalty box, so I'm unsure yet, but
as it stands at the moment, Cryptic Callie is alone on the jammer line, so we are...
I'm waiting on the whiteboard. It looks like we've got a double jammer down.
Indeed. Yeah, there we are. Cryptic Callie for the Runaway Brides. Add a penalty called on her. She is in the penalty box. So now we got it all sorted out. So no power jam after all. It's Ellie Mayhem for the Runaway Brides. And that is, I believe that's Skeletina again. We're going to go ahead and get this one sorted out. We've got an official timeout. So we're going to take a second to make sure we have all this sorted. A lot of moving parts there. When you get penalties on both jammers, there's a lot to sort out. So let's go ahead and talk about a few things here. For example, the AZDD merch booth. Be sure to visit the Derby Dames merch booth. You can get your favorite league and team merchandise. They have t-shirts, tank tops, hats, koozies, beach towels, Christmas tree ornaments at a deep discount, as well as stickers and buttons of your favorite team. It's the merch booth right over here just outside of turn number 3. And more news from the food world. You've heard about Off the Hook Taco Truck. Don't forget about the dessert truck today. The Beignet and Coffee Shack is outside to feed your sweet tooth. They've got hot and iced coffee available, as well as delicious beignets with powdered sugar. Get a few or get a bag full and drop some off at the announcer stand. We wouldn't complain. That's the Beignet and Coffee Shack.
Looks like both teams are rendering jammers for this jam. We've got Skeletina on the jammer line for the Draggers up against Ellie Mayhem for the Brides with a pack of 3-on-2 Dragger advantage. Skeletina able to run right on past, but Ellie Mayhem scooted right on past her just a little faster.
Ellie Mayhem with a nifty move there, managed to duck through a hole in that wall of 3 Draggers blockers, got through, tried to pick up her points and call off the jam, and indeed it was a 4-point jam for Ellie Mayhem. Can't do it much better than that. Got those points and called it off before Skeletina, who was just behind her.
Looks like we've got Hollywood on that jammer line for the Brides.
And it's Victoria Van Gore for the Coffin Draggers.
Looks like we've got a 3-on-2 pack in that blocker box. Got a few failure reforms on the Draggers and during that last jam. And another penalty for one of the Brides blockers. Hollywood's able to get right back on that track because Tyranny came off the track as she hit her. Victoria Van Gore is out on turn 1 as well as Hollywood approaches to pick up some points for her team.
Pack now trying to pick up some speed. Hollywood up to the outside, throws a vicious move on the first blocker there for the Draggers. Whoever's wearing that pivot stripe. Old Greg's glasses are a little foggier than usual tonight, so I'm doing my level best, everybody. But Hollywood really threw a move there, got her points, called it off. It's a 4-point jam for the Brides.
Looks like we are going to have one blocker in the penalty box for the Draggers. They're going to be down one skater. 4-on-3 in that blocker box with the Bride advantage. Milani Mangler taking that jammer line. And Skeletina for the Draggers.
Skeletina now trying to tiptoe by on the inside. Both jammers briefly off onto the infield. Now Skeletina finds an opening. Tries to shoot straight through to the upper rail in the turn, but blocked off and bumped down. And a little forearm check down to the inside, and there goes Milani Mangler for the Runaway Brides.
Milani Mangler out of that pack and coming up on some points while Skeletina tries to fight her way past Lightning Ellie. And Ellie, as Milani Mangler comes up, scores some points, she's going to come around for more.
Skeletina now able to escape the pack and outruns Ellie Mayhem to the front, so Skeletina out and clear for the Coffin Draggers. Milani Mangler now on another scoring pass, goes ahead and calls it off, approaching a back wall of defenders. Real quick, Derby fans, as it starts to get a little crowded in here, please remember, during game action, we need you to remain behind that yellow line on the ground that surrounds the track. That is really, really important. If you're not part of the bout production crew, need you behind that yellow line for your safety and the safety of the skaters. Thank you.
Looks like the jammer for the Brides committed an arms penalty during that last jam, and we also have Nova sitting in the penalty box. They're going to be down a blocker and a jammer, which is a power jam for the Draggers.
It's your assistant captain, Tyranny, out there doing the honors for the Coffin Draggers in this power jam, which we are 14 seconds into, trying to find our way through.
Coffin Draggers trying to play some offense for their jammer, but the Brides are doing a great job of recycling in front of that jammer.
There's 3 Brides defenders out there taking no prisoners. That is with the long hair down there in the corner is just a flurry of shoulders and hips.
We've got 20 seconds left on that jam clock as Lightning and Hood do a great job of keeping Tyranny back there on that front side, and then they have to let her go because they are out of play. Alan Annihilate trying to fight her way through that defensive wall of Draggers in the back.
Tyranny up to the pack, able to get in there and at least get a handful of points before the whistle. We will wait and see what the official score
one
is.
from each team is going to be picking up an arms penalty. We've got Panda and Hood going to be sitting in that penalty box for arms. Draggers are going to be down 2 blockers during this jam. Victoria Van Gore taking that jammer line for the Draggers up against Ellie Mayhem for the Brides.
And quickly there with a burst of action, both jammers right to the front of the pack. Ellie Mayhem able to get by Victoria Van Gore once again. And as the lead jammer for the Brides, Victoria Van Gore now hemmed in behind the defense. Humongous collision there.
The Destroyer and Craven delivering some in-sync offense to get their jammer out as Ellie Mayhem passes now.
Goodness me.
And calls the jam. That was awesome.
I didn't see where anybody came. Like all of a sudden it was just.
We've got a timeout being called by the Brides, and during this time, we would like to give a shout out to one of our league sponsors, Copper Star Coffee, a locally owned coffee shop and cafe providing hand-blended drinks and award-winning baked goods. This is on the southwest corner of 7th Ave and Heatherbrae, just north of Indian School. Copper Star Coffee.
Be sure to visit the Derby Dame Snack Bar to grab a cold beverage or snack. That's right inside here at the end of the back straightaway. All proceeds go back to the league, and your support is greatly appreciated. Siphon Draw Apothecary Shop is another one of our league sponsors. They sell all natural, non-toxic, handcrafted skincare products made by our very own Dolly de los Muertos. You can visit them at the Goldfield Ghost Town on historic Highway 88 northeast of town. It's the Siphon Draw Apothecary Shop.
We've got Hollywood taking that jammer line for the Brides.
For the Coffin Draggers, it's going to be Skeletina. Looks like we've got 2 Coffin Draggers in the penalty box, 1 Runaway Bride. So a slight pack advantage for the Brides here as we get underway.
We've got both jammers trying to find their way through the pack here in turn 1 on that low side. Hollywood trying to fight her way past the last few draggers, skating backwards and out of that pack there in turn 3. Scalatina still trying to fight her way past Goldie Blocks, and Goldie Blocks has to let her go. Yeah. Hollywood jumping that coping like it's no big deal.
So we are setting up again now. 4 points for the Brides there. Setting up to jam now. It's going to be Ellie Mayhem for the Runaway Brides.
Up against the Destroyer from the Draggers. Waiting on that whistle to start the jam. I'm unsure if, looks like the Draggers are having to pull a blocker. Oh my goodness, Tyranny collecting 3 penalties in that last jam. 4-on-3 with the Brides having the advantage. Ellie Mayhem trying to work her way past Zora and Vava, while the Destroyer is trapped behind Lightning and Milani Mangler. Novocaine having to let the Destroyer out here in turn 3. She's out of play as Ellie Mayhem collects her points and calls it.
Four more points for the Brides there, pushing that lead up. Looks like we've got time to get one more jam in before the quarter break. It's going to be Little Bo Reap for the Runaway Brides, and it's going to be Victoria Van Gore for the Coffin Draggers. Couldn't see her number.
Both jammers still behind those defensive walls. Callie trying to get some offense for her jammer, but she ends up coming down and off the track as Hal Annihilate just spins her way around Victoria Van Gore. They are both out of the pack, but it is too close, and Victoria Van Gore calls the jam.
And with the announcement from game executioner Obi-Wan Kenoly.
Obi-Wan Kenoly, yeah.
That is going to take us to the quarter break. We've got a 5-minute break for everybody to catch their breath and run to the bathroom. We'll be back with you here momentarily. Don't forget, if in line for the indoor bathroom, skaters take priority. So if you would like to get a line-free bathroom where people aren't going to be jumping the line on you, head outside to our very clean outdoor bathrooms. Little chilly, not going to lie. Little chilly out there, but they're clean.
All right, which brings us to our first raffle prize of the night. If I can get the raffle screen up on the big screen. Check your raffle tickets for this awesome lawn dart set donated by one of our home teams, the Bombshells. It's going to be raffle ticket number 295533. Ticket number 295533. If you just won, please come on down and collect your prize over here by the announcer's booth. To my left-hand side is our raffle table.
Hey, who's ready for some merchandise? Looks like we've got a minor assault out there and then a not minor assault. Looks like Nikki Badass out there delivering some prizes as well. So if you want a little bit of Derby Dames merch, coming along the front straightaway, we got one of our minor assaults. Hoot and holler, raise your hands. Wave them like you care or don't care. I don't care. And let them know you want some merchandise.
Dirty Carry to the announcer's booth, please. Dirty Carry.
Derby fans, as we mentioned, later on tonight, the second bout of the evening is going to be a mashup, and we're going to have our Arizona Derby Dames minor assaults. We get a cheer from the crowd there. Let me append that a little bit and say our national champion Arizona Derby Dames minor assaults. That's right. So they are going to, we're forming two mashup squads, the blue squad and the white squad tonight. We're mashing them up with members of our Arizona Derby Dames Hot Shots All-Star team. So they're going to be out there skating two mashup teams of our minor assaults and our Derby Dames Hot Shots. That's the second bout this evening. Stick around. Now, if you're a young lady between the ages of 10 and 17 who loves to skate, or if you know somebody who meets that simple criterion, our minor assaults are a nonprofit 501c3, and they're always looking for new skaters to join their team. Our coaches not only teach technique and knowledge of the sport, but they also help build leadership, teamwork, and problem-solving skills that'll help in life situations far beyond roller derby. Minor skating skills, dedication to learn, and a positive mental attitude are all that we require. Come see what all the fun is about. Ask any Arizona Derby Dame how to get involved, or visit our website at azddinspire.org for information on donating to or sponsoring the minor assaults. And with that, we are back to the action. We are going to get right back into it now. Jamming for the Coffin Draggers is number 7, the Destroyer, up against Milani Mangler for the Runaway Brides. Tightly bunched pack now. Looks like we've got one Runaway Bride in the penalty box. Just a lot of people getting hit right now is what I see over there. Tightly clustered pack now making their way down through the corner into the front straightaway, and the Destroyer manages to get that last blocker pushed far enough away. And the Destroyer is your lead jammer for the Coffin Draggers. Trying to get that star back on now so that she can get points when she passes people. And the Destroyer now trying to fight her way past Milani Mangler, still not out of the pack there in the back, hemmed in amongst a sea of black jerseys. With 11 seconds to go in this jam, here comes the Destroyer making her way around to see if she can get a second scoring pass in. Up to the outside around her back blockers, and now she's just going to follow Milani Mangler to the front there. Big collision at the front of the pack with Lightning McQueen. And that's going to do it for the jam. Waiting for the official score here from the referees. 9-point jam for the Destroyer there. Get some points on the board for the Coffin Draggers and try to close up that lead.
We've got Holly Hood on that jammer line for your Brides up against Skeletina for the Draggers. Holly Hood out of that pack there in turn 1, running straight on through that coping. Skeletina able to get past that last defensive blocker in the front. She is also out of the pack as Holly Hood approaches to get her scoring pass and calls the jam.
So that'll be 4 points for the Runaway Brides as Holly Hood out there trying to quash any kind of possible.
Looks like we've got Little Bo Reap sitting in the penalty box for stopping during that last jam, so the Brides are going to be down 1 blocker.
Ellie Mayhem on the jammer line for the Runaway Brides. And for the Draggers, it's going to be Tyranny. And out of the pack in your lead jammer, it's Ellie Mayhem for the Runaway Brides. Now fighting her way to the front of the pack, there's Tyranny trying to get clear. Knocked to the ground by Lightning the Queen. Some excellent defense on the front end of the pack there from the Brides as usual. And Tyranny's clear of the pack. Ellie Mayhem now trying to fight her way through.
And calls that jam.
It's another 4 points for the Runaway Brides, and we're going to have a timeout here. We have an official timeout. So the regulators are going to talk over a little bit of what just went on in the last jam and make sure we've got all the penalties assessed and points awarded. And
looks like we've got the Brides jammer picked up an arms during that last jam, so she's going to be sitting in the penalty box alongside Lightning and Nova also picking up penalties. Nova picking up 2 penalties during that jam. They're going to have 3 in that box and no jammer for this next jam. But I also see the totem symbol coming from the refs. I'll wait to officially call it.
so while we wait for the official word, we can let you know about Above and Beyond Palette Creations. Repurposing pallets into art, they've created all of our signage here in the Hall of Dames. For information or to commission work, you can see Bobby Ross, the coach of the Schoolyard Scrappers. You can find him on Facebook by looking up Above and Beyond Palette Creations. And I saw some of the work that he did this Christmas season. It is beautiful.
Totem, what does totem mean? It's another double jammer down scenario? Got it. That makes sense because they have 3 over here, and I don't know, I didn't see what was on the other side.
All right, looks like we had everything sorted out. So it is going to be a humongous advantage for the Coffin Draggers here. Skeletina is going to be doing the jamming. Oh, not a power jam. No, indeed, it is not a power jam. There's Hollyhood. She was in camouflage. They just painted the track. I couldn't see her with that white jersey on. Skeletina, though, emerges from the pack and is her lead jammer. Hollyhood knocked to the ground while she was just about clear and about a third of a track behind. Now Skeletina, her offense is holding everybody up there along the top rail. Skeletina gets through, picks up her points, and calls off the jam.
Skeletina taking that inside like a champ. We've got Ellie Mayhem taking that jammer line for the Brides up against the Destroyer for the Draggers. And a full pack, 4-on-4.
And the jam is underway. The Destroyer has
Vava
the jammer
Doom
star
taking that
on.
panty pass on that high side and breaking out before turn 1, coming around for her first scoring pass. Ellie Mayhem still in the pack. Has not broken through as Vava Doom approaches for her first scoring pass.
Vava Doom still trying to find her way through the pack. Big cluster of bodies up there, and all those Runaway Brides up there are able to get linked together, so Vava Doom calls it off before surrendering any points.
Looks like Vava was able to pick up 1 point during that jam. And Craven picked up a penalty during that last jam, so she's going to be sitting in the penalty box. Draggers are going to be down 1 blocker. We've got Tyranny taking that jammer line for the Draggers up against Cryptic Callie for your Brides. Both jammers are still in that pack as Callie comes up on that last blocker, and she breaks out of that pack in the straightaway. And Tyranny is also out of that pack about half a track behind her as Callie approaches for her first scoring pass. Looks like I see an OTO symbol coming up from our game executioner. We're going to be having an official timeout while the refs deliberate. During this official timeout, please make sure that you visit our merch booth. Be sure to visit the Arizona Derby Danes merch booth to get your favorite league and team merchandise. We have t-shirts, tank tops, hats, koozies, beach towels, and Christmas tree ornaments, as well as stickers and buttons of your favorite team. Thank you.
Another of our league sponsors, Nutrition One School Lunch Program. Food is the energy that growing children need. Providing healthy, great tasting, and freshly prepared whole foods to local schools valley-wide, Nutrition One works closely with the Department of Education and the USDA to make sure our children are getting what they need daily to stay focused and get the best out of their school lunch. It's Nutrition One School Lunch Program.
We do want to let all of our fans know that if you parked in the dispensary parking lot, which is located at the entrance of our parking lot, you need to move your car. We did spot a tow truck over there, so if you parked in the dispensary, you need to go ahead and move your car. Thank you. Craven able to break out of that pack.
Pack now picking up speed as they head down the back straightaway. Craven Cadavers trying to catch up. We do have, this is a power jam for the Coffin Draggers indeed. And passed up to the front of the pack now. Craven Cadavers on through. 20 seconds to go here in the power jam. Craven Cadavers now on her second scoring pass.
Got a very fast pack, but it looks like the Draggers are finally able to get a goat in the back. Lightning the Queen, she ends up hitting Craven down to that inside. Craven gets back on and calls it. Looks like Ellie Mayhem picked up a penalty during that last jam as a blocker, so she'll be sitting in the penalty box. We've got Goldie Blocks taking that jammer line for the Brides.
And it's Skeletina for the Coffin Draggers.
4-on-3 with the Dragger advantage. Waiting on that whistle to start the jam. Goldie Blocks trying to fight her way on that inside and get past that last Dragger blocker, and she's out on that high. Skeletina still almost out of that pack, and she ends up tripping and falling, but ends up getting back up and coming out here in turn 3 as Goldie Blocks approaches for her first scoring pass. Goldie gets back up on that track and calls it before Skeletina has a chance to pick up any points. Looks like Alan Eilach had picked up a penalty during that last jam, a low block. That was right where we saw Skeletina trip over her leg.
We definitely have a defensive struggle here so far. It is a lot of 3-point, 2-point, 4-point jams going through. So
absolutely, and we're about halfway through the second quarter, and with a score of 70, your Runaway Brides to 44, your Coffin Draggers. It is still close. Anything can happen.
Jamming now, that's Milani Mangler for the Runaway Brides. And for the Coffin Draggers, it's the Destroyer. Everybody kind of bunched up in the middle. They're trying to find their way through. Destroyer trying to get to the front of the pack, bumped onto the infield.
The Destroyer is struggling to stay on her skates to get past those last two blockers. Vava Doom takes the panty and runs out of it here in turn 3. Puts that panty on her helmet and calls the jam. That other jammer was too close. However, that was a really awesome panty pass.
Excellent execution.
Great job, wife.
Milani Mangler, one of the faster skaters in the league, emerging from the pack there, was catching up quick as Vavadoom was trying to skate and put a helmet cover on her head. I can't do that when I don't have wheels on my shoes. And
Holly Hood taking that jammer line for the Brides. Tyranny for the Draggers. Tyranny and Holly Hood running straight through the center of that pack. She's too close and calls the jam.
Well, the clock continues to run as we head towards halftime here. Under 6 minutes to go to halftime. On the jammer line this time for the Coffin Draggers, it's Skeletina, and it's Ellie Mayhem for the Brides. We're going to go 3 for 3 on jams with no points. I said it was a defensive struggle, but this is ridiculous.
Just in case you weren't aware, we are selling 50-50 raffle tickets, and our 50-50 raffle is at $350.
Wow. We're not even halftime of the
You
first
get to go home
yet.
with half of that, but I know it's going to be a lot higher. Vava Doom executing another successful panty pass with Ali Mayhem passing her and stealing lead. Unfortunately, Vava Doom cannot call the jam until that panty is on her helmet as Ali Mayhem passes the pack and collects her points. Looks like there was a pile up here, and the jam ref, that was the white jam ref, was down on her knees over here towards the bench. Didn't see it.
So we do have some scoring for both sides there. 4 points for the Brides, 3 points for the Draggers. So a net gain of 1 for the Brides. That's math. Hollywood now is on the jammer line for the Runaway Brides, and that's the Destroyer for the Coffin Draggers. Destroyer up there. Des trying to get by on the high side, unable to find a way through. Hollywood battling away to the front of the pack now, trying to bump that last Coffin Draggers blocker out of the way, and does so. And
Hollywood out of that
dragger.
pack.
And it looks like we've had another star cover pass for the Coffin Draggers. Victoria Van Gore now taking over as jammer. Hollywood through the pack and calls it off.
For any of you whose first time it is here watching Bang Track Roller Derby, a star pass consists of the jammer passing the helmet panty with the star on it to the pivot, which is the helmet panty that is a stripe. That is the only panty pass that can happen in Bang Track Roller Derby. And that pivot then becomes the jammer. She is unable to call the jam off, which is where you see their hands go up and down together, unless she is wearing that panty. So she has to make sure that she puts it on her helmet over the stripe helmet panty, and then she can call off the jam if she is lead jammer.
We are back to the action. It is going to be Militia jamming for the first time for the Runaway Brides. Up against Tyranny for the Coffin Draggers. 78-47 with just under 4 minutes to go until halftime. And Militia down to the inside, found an opening and gets out as your lead jammer. Tyranny just about clear, but knocked down by the last blocker there. So that's going to give Militia a little bit of a cushion there, trying to get back to the pack. And Militia weaving her way through the pack, tried to angle down to the inside, but called off the jam. And wisely so, because you can't call off the jam if you're on the infield.
Our minor assaults have a table set up over here along the back side where our mural is. They have cupcakes if you would like to donate to our minor assaults, which is our youth part of the league. So if you're between the ages of 10 and 17 and you love to skate, you can join our minor assaults, which are a nonprofit 501c3, and they're always looking for new skaters. Make sure and support our minor assaults and go donate some cash and get a cupcake. They're homemade.
That is Hollywood out there and is your lead jammer for the Runaway Brides. Takes a hard tumble there, bumped off to the infield by one of the blockers for the Draggers. Gets up, now back up and reestablishes behind the pack as Victoria Van Gore now approaching the pack as well. Hollywood calls it off as she was mired in a sea of black jerseys.
Looks like the jammer for the Draggers during that jam committed a penalty, so they're going to be down a jammer. The Destroyer collecting it above the shoulders. Looks like it's going to be a power jam for your Brides. Ali Mayhem doing the honors.
Score's been kind of mired in this little area here for about 5 minutes, and this is a big chance for the Brides to put some points on the board. But before we get to that, it looks like we are going to have a team timeout called by the Coffin Draggers. So we're going to step aside from the action one more time. Looks like they had something they needed to discuss, as that was being signaled from the track. So let's take a look at some more of our sponsors. Don't forget about Plague Fitness. They're providing those infected by fitness, roller derby, and healthy living with clothing for that contagious fit lifestyle. You can visit their website at plaguefitness.com.
The Arizona Derby Dames Charity of the Month is the Sojourner Center here in Phoenix, Arizona. This organization is one of the largest domestic violence shelters in the United States, and the Dames will be asking for winter clothing donations for children through the month of January. So please join us back here at the Hall of Dames on January 26th with your donations. Sojourner Center will have a booth and volunteers providing information where fans can get details on how to use services as well as how to volunteer and donate individually.
Mark your calendar. Season 14 continues with our next bout. It's right here 3 weeks from tonight on January 26th. It's another doubleheader, and it's going to feature the Bombshells versus the Doomsday Valkyries in the first game, and then the Brutal Beauties and the Schoolyard Scrappers in the second game, all right here at the Hall of Dames 3 weeks from tonight, 6 p.m.
Going back to our power jam for the Brides, LA Mayhem doing the honors on that jammer line. Waiting on that whistle for the jam. Pack is moving very slowly here. Lots of action going on. Ellie Mayhem breaking out of that pack there in turn one. Her teammates trying to deliver some offense to collect some points for their jammer as Ellie Mayhem approaches for her first scoring pass. Ellie Mayhem trying to fight her way through the Draggers defense. Ends up towards the front with Vava and Craven doing a great job of keeping that jammer in here on the front. Ellie Mayhem almost out there on that low. Ellie Mayhem breaking out of that pack there in turn one, coming around for some more. She's got about 8 seconds left in the clock.
Yeah, that's going to do it for the power jam.
Looks like Hollywood picked up a stopping during that last jam, so she's going to be sitting in the penalty box.
Setting up.
Sorry, it looks like they're going to be down another blocker. Novocaine also joining her in the penalty box. Down 2 blockers for this next set.
It's going to be Goldie Blocks taking the line for the Runaway Brides and Skeletina for the Coffin Draggers as we get down to very close to halftime. This may be the last jam before the halftime break.
Goldie Block's trying to get out on that high, but the Draggers are not letting her through. Meanwhile, Skeletina breaking out of that pack in turn one.
Skeletina making her way around the track now. The pack has kind of ground to a halt there in the back straightaway. And Skeletina able to get through and then dodge that block from Al Annihilatia, and she gets by in a scoring pass, rapidly coming around for some more. Goldie Block still trying to fight her way out of the pack. Skeletina to the inside, now up to the outside. It's a battle of wits with Al Annihilatia. Al down to the inside and rides her off onto the infield. Skeletina's got to get up and reestablish. And Skeletina back up on the track now to continue her way.
Skeletina coming up.
Skeletina trying to find an opening here. And able to get through along the inside. Now once again doing battle there on the front end of the pack, but that's going to do it. And the clock explodes on the jam. We'll wait for the official score there, but that's a big boost for the Coffin Draggers going into the halftime break.
Looks like the Bride's jammer committed a cut during that last jam, so she'll be sitting in the penalty box. We're just going to give our Draggers a power jam starting in the third quarter.
So that's going to take us to the halftime break right now. Your score, Runaway Brides 90, Coffin Draggers 64. So don't go anywhere. This thing is not anywhere close to being over. We will be back with you after a 15-minute halftime break with the remainder of this bout and then our second bout of the evening.
I've got 2 raffle prizes to call out for you. Our first one is donated by our Brutal Beauties, and it is a surprise raffle prize. Ticket number 295445. Ticket number 295445. Our second is donated by our regulators, which is a bunch of discount tire goodies. We've got ticket number 295467. 295467. Please come and collect your prizes over here. The raffle prize booth is located to the left of the announcer's booth. Come and get your prizes. Enjoy this halftime and go and eat some food off of the taco truck. That is the end of our halftime. Waiting on that whistle to start the jam of the third quarter of this game. Our teams have switched benches. We got the Runaway Brides at 90 points and our Coffin Draggers at 64 points.
And we're going to get back to the action with a power jam for the Coffin Draggers. So they had that big 15-point jam going into halftime. We'll see if they can keep that momentum going here as we get ready to start the third quarter. It's going to be Skeletina on the jammer line for the Coffin Draggers. And the action is underway. 3 blockers out there for the Brides. 4 blockers, excuse me, for the Brides. So a full complement of blockers, just no jammer. Pack now making their way down into the back straightaway. A couple of jammers, blockers down. Skeletina deposited on the infield by one of those blockers up front.
Brides doing a great job of keeping the pace of this pack very quick and staying in the front. Draggers struggling to penetrate that defense. Got about 20 seconds left in this jam. Hollywood delivering a shoulder hit to Skeletina, knocking her right off her skates.
Just a few seconds left in the jam. Skeletina tries to squeeze through and manages to squeeze her way through the pack. But that was still her first time in the pack, so great defense there by the Runaway Brides to prevent any points during the power jam.
Looks like we got a couple of dragger blockers that are going to be sitting in the penalty box for some penalties during that last jam. They're going to be down 2 blockers. We've got Tyranny taking the jammer line for the Draggers up against Melanie Mangler for the Brides.
This next jam is underway. Up to the outside goes Melanie Mangler. Easy as you please. Right by along the outside and is your lead jammer. Tyranny bumped onto the infield but waved on by the referees, so Tyranny is out of the pack as well. Trying to fight her way through as they both approach the pack. That was, Melanie Mangler. Yep, and she called the jam off for the Runaway Brides. Melanie Mangler got her points, 4 points on the boards for the Brides. Called it off.
We've got Goldie Blocks taking the jammer line for the Brides up against a Destroyer for the Draggers. Destroyer coming up on some strong defense from Al and Callie. Meanwhile, Goldie Blocks trapped behind that Dragger defensive wall in the back. Zora Craven and Devachka DeLarge trying to block that jammer here in the back. Goldie Blocks able to get past that wall of Draggers, but Craven doing a great job of hitting her to that inside. And out comes the Destroyer with Goldie Blocks close behind.
Number 7 in front of number 3, the Destroyer judging her distance back to the pack and definitely saw the Brides had formed in the front of the pack and we're going to play keep away, so Des calls it off. Setting up the jam now, it's going to be Skeletina for the Coffin Draggers. And for the Runaway Brides, it's Ellie Mayhem. Fighting her way through the pack right now. Trying to find her way to the front was Ellie Mayhem, but bumped down onto the infield by one of the Dragger blockers down there. At the front of the pack, it's Skeletina trying to fight her way through. So much defense going on here tonight. It'd be a defensive fan's dream. They're fighting their way on through. There goes Ellie Mayhem looking exhausted after going through the gauntlet of Coffin Draggers blockers.
Ellie Mayhem able to run right on past Panda on that low. Skeletina still in that pack, unable to break past Lightning and Milani as Ellie Mayhem comes up for another scoring pass.
That time, Ellie Mayhem trying to jump by on the inside, and it landed on the infield. Blocker on the infield as well, and we're out of time in the jam there as Skeletina was trying to get clear.
Looks like Panda got an arms penalty during that last jam. They're going to be down one blocker. 4-on-3 in the box with the Bride advantage. Little Bo Reap taking that jammer line for the Brides up against Tyranny from the Draggers. Little Bo Reap running out on that high side there before turn one. Vava Doom collecting that star from the jammer as the pivot. Trapped behind Al and Hood on the front side. Hood delivering a clean hit to the infield on Vava Doom.
Big collision at the back of the pack at the same time. There was skaters tumbling every which way. Your Runaway Brides jammer approached the pack and ran into one of the blockers for the Draggers, and everybody ended up on the ground. Meanwhile, out of the pack goes Vava Doom.
Looks like Vava Doom collected a penalty while she was the jammer during that jam. So it's going to be a power jam for the Brides. Milani Mangler taking that jammer line for the Brides during this power jam.
Setting up now to do the power jamming for the Runaway Brides, it's Milani Mangler. And along the outside she goes and is already clear of the pack in 3 seconds. Coffin Draggers now trying to set up some defense. Runaway Brides setting up the offensive side of things. And you saw right there, one of the blockers bolted forward trying to clear a path.
Milani Mangler able to run out there on that high side past a few of those Dragger defensive blockers. Goldilocks coming to the front to deliver some offense for her jammer. Milani coming up on that defense in the front. Milani able to run out there past that last blocker. She's got enough time for one more pass, everyone says. About 7 seconds left on the clock. And that's the jam.
It's a 10-point power jam for the Runaway Brides. Going to push that lead up to 116-64. Just about halfway through the third quarter here. It's Cryptic Cali on the jammer line for the Runaway Brides. And for the Coffin Draggers, that's going to be the Destroyer.
That's the whistle for the jam. Cryptic Cali taking a hit to the infield from Zora La Bruja. The Destroyer trying to fight her way past Hollywood and Al Annihilation towards the front of the pack. The Destroyer trying to hit her way past Hollywood, but Hollywood is delivering those hits right back. Al Annihilation and Hollywood still in that front defensive wall, keeping the Destroyer in. And I hear the refs calling out of play on Hollywood and Al Annihilation as Cryptic Cali comes trying to collect some points. Looks like Cali picked up an arms penalty during that last jam, though, so it's going to be a power jam for the Coffin Draggers. Waiting on the jammers to switch out, some blockers to get added. We got a 4-on-4 pack in the blocker box with Victoria Van Gore doing the honors for the Draggers during this power jam.
Victoria Van Gore trying to find a way along the rail, delivered to the turf there by a shoulder from one of the blockers for the Runaway Brides. Now creeping her way along that outside rail and just trying to get through on force of brute willpower alone. Smart play there, got the blockers pushed far enough out of play that the blockers are called out of play, and Victoria Van Gore is clear with better than 30 seconds to go here in the power jam. And Victoria Van Gore again able to get through the pack there. A block by Ellie Mayhem, but they both ended up on the infield. So Victoria Van Gore gets waved on by with 15 seconds to go in the jam. She's coming around for more.
Victoria Van Gore coming up to pick up some points for her team. And calls that jam. Wow, looks like we've got a dragger. Ginger picked up 4 failure to reforms during that last jam, all in one jam.
Setting up the jam now, that's going to be Skeletina for the Coffin Draggers.
We've got Watermelon on the jammer line for the Brides, but Skeletina comes down. Oh my, the Draggers. I don't know what just happened. Are we doing a jam reset? I'm unsure. But looks like the Draggers picked up a ton of penalties in that last jam, including their jammer. So they're going to be down 2 blockers and a jammer. Meanwhile, the Brides also picking up an arms penalty. Lightning will be also sitting in the penalty box during this next jam.
All right, so we've had a team timeout called by the Runaway Brides that will deplete them of timeouts for the rest of the evening. Regulators continue to talk this over and get everything squared away. If you're interested in being a part of the roller derby community, but hitting people just isn't your thing, our regulators are always looking for dedicated and eager minds to learn our rule set and help keep our ladies on the track safe. Our regulator team accepts all gender types. There's various levels of officiating that go on during roller derby bouts. Come be a part of the action and help our league grow. Ask any skater or ref how to get involved.
League sponsor Nutrition One School Lunch Program. Food is the energy that growing children need, providing healthy, great tasting, and freshly prepared whole foods to local schools valley-wide. Nutrition One works closely with the Department of Education and the USDA to make sure our children are getting what they need daily to stay focused and get the best out of their school lunch.
Let's hear it from anybody in the crowd who's here for our Minor Assaults Hot Shots mashup later tonight. Don't forget your national champion minor assaults are selling cupcakes tonight. I bet they taste like victory. They're down at a table down there where they usually sell popcorn down there just outside of turns number 1 and 2. So if you'd like to support the minor assaults, get on down there and get yourself some national championship cupcakes.
All right, we're resetting this jam. We've got Watermelon on the jammer line for the Brides.
So it's a power jam for the Brides, and there's 3 blockers, well, 2 blockers and a jammer in the penalty box for the Coffin Draggers. So the minimum out there for the Draggers, 2 skaters. Watermelon able to get by that last blocker, and the power jam is underway in earnest.
Brides doing a great job of keeping that dragger blocker back and splitting that pack, rendering Craven unable to block that jammer because she is out of play in the front. Moxie doing a great job of trying to fight her way to get towards Craven so that they can block together. As Watermelon approaches the pack, she's able to skate right on through and come around for more. She still has plenty of time on the clock. Watermelon able to skate right on past Craven. Craven is out of play. Bride's doing a great job of keeping that goat in the back. And that's the jam. Looks like Watermelon picked up 20 points during that jam, bringing the Bride score to 136. Coffin Draggers 74.
Just under 3.5 minutes to go here until the quarter break. It's going to be Ellie Mayhem for the Runaway Brides. And for the Coffin Draggers, it's somebody who's in front of Ellie Mayhem. That's Tyranny, is who that is. Tyranny is jamming for the Coffin Draggers. Both jammers out of the pack at about the same time, and Tyranny calls it off. And as long as it took me to figure out who the jammer was, that's how quickly the jam was over. Unzo, we will reconvene. It will be Little Bo Reap for the Runaway Brides for a second, but it is going to be a power jam. In that little bit of time, jammer for the Brides picked up a penalty, so it's a power jam for the Coffin Draggers.
Looks like the Brides are going to challenge that penalty on Ellie Mayhem and see what comes of that. Our 50-50 raffle is at $600. Now, I'm not a math teacher, but half of 600 is 300. So you would get to go home with $300 tonight, if not more, by the end of the night. Make sure that you are buying those raffle tickets from Smalls. If you have not met Killin' May Smalls, you'll meet her soon. And when you do, she'll probably take your money for those 50-50 raffle tickets. Make sure that you are buying 50-50 raffle tickets. Again, it is at $600 right now. Yeah, it's coming soon. Our annual Chingadera tournament is coming in February. We are going to be hosting teams from all over the country. Please stay tuned for more announcements for that tournament. We will likely post it on our Facebook page as well as have flyers for you at our very next bout.
Don't forget about our January charity. The Derby Dames Charity of the Month is the Sojourner Center here in Phoenix. The organization is one of the largest domestic violence shelters in the United States, and the Dames will be asking for winter clothing donations for children through January. So please join us back here at the Hall of Dames on January 26th. With your donations, the Sojourner Center will have a booth and volunteers providing information where fans can get details on how to use services as well as how to volunteer and donate individually. What's that? Our next bout? Indeed, Season 14 continues with our next bout on January 26th, so 3 weeks from tonight. It's a doubleheader, and it's going to feature home teams from the Derby Dames. The Bombshells will be battling the Valkyries, and the Brutal Beauties will be taking on the Schoolyard Scrappers. That's all right here at the Hall of Dames, so don't forget, bring your donations of children's winter clothing to our next bout on Saturday, January 26th.
It looks like that penalty is going to be upheld, so this is going to be a power jam for the Coffin Draggers. Tyranny taking that jammer line for the Coffin Draggers.
And there we go. Tyranny is fought her way to the front of the pack. Thought she was going to get clear there, but that last two wall there, hard to get by him. And now Tyranny is around them and clear with 45 seconds to go here in the power jam. Tyranny now trying to catch up to the pack. Runaway Brides have built on their lead here in the third quarter. And this could be a good chance for the Coffin Draggers to add some points back to their total. Waiting to see here what's going to happen. Got some solid defense up there. Again, a three wall all set together for the Runaway Brides. Stout defense as always from this Bride squad. And finally, Tyranny able to push them far enough away, inching them forward until they were out of play. Out of play means you are more than 20 feet away from the pack, and that means you can no longer block as a blocker. But that's going to do it for the power jam. Excellent defense from the Brides. 5 points scored on that power jam by the Coffin Draggers as Tyranny able to make it through one time.
We do have an announcement. If you are parked along the west wall, that's not alongside the fence, on the west wall of the back side of our warehouse where there are not designated parking spots, you need to move your car before your car gets towed. If you parked along the west wall on this side of our warehouse, that's not where the parking spots are on the other side. That is a drive-through zone. In an event of an emergency, a fire truck or ambulance needs to get through. So your car will be towed if you do not move your car if you are parked along the west side of our warehouse. Which brings us back to roller derby. Skeletina coming up on that pack, calling that jam. That jam is over.
So it was 5 points for the Runaway Brides there, scored by Ellie Mayhem. And it looks like we're going to have Victoria Van Gore on the jammer line for the Draggers. And for the Brides, it's going to be Little Bo Reap as we approach what will probably be our last jam of the third quarter.
We've got one blocker down for the Draggers.
And they're both out. It's going to be a bit of a jammer race as they come down out of the front and down the stretch they come. Oh, sorry. Dipped into a prior life there. That's Victoria Van Gore, and she calls it off. At the jammer line now, it's going to be Tyranny for the Draggers. Ellie Mayhem started that way, and now Tyranny comes down the track.
Looks like Victoria Van Gore collected a cut penalty during that last jam, so it's going to be a power jam for the Runaway Brides.
And this definitely will be the last jam of the third quarter. Ellie Mayhem out there all by her lonesome.
Ellie Mayhem trying to break past that Dragger defense. Her teammates trying to collect a goat in the back, and she is out there in turn one. Coming around to collect some points for her team. Right now the Draggers are all split up. There is no wall of Draggers, which is beneficial for that Bride's jammer. Ellie Mayhem trying to stay on her skates.
15 seconds to go here in the power jam. Ellie Mayhem is taking a beating from those Draggers blockers. Manages to get on through the pack and is watching the clock and is content to just go ahead and call that jam off and burn those last few seconds as we head to the quarter break. So we will wait for the official score. 5 points for the Runaway Brides in that power jam. It's going to take us to our quarter break. We're going to step aside for 5 minutes. Runaway Brides 146, Coffin Draggers 79. And as we are here at the quarter break, please get your raffle tickets ready. We are giving away a raffle prize. It's going to be a 60-minute massage. A 60-minute massage, and if you're ready with those raffle tickets, it is 295-484. 295-484. 8-4. That is your winning ticket for the 60-minute massage coming up here to the raffle prizes booth just under our standings board, just outside of the far turn. Fans, once again, during this quarter break, there are a few places around the warehouse that you cannot park. We'd like to go over those with you momentarily. If you have parked in the dispensary parking lot, we do have a dispensary just to the east of us on McDowell. If you parked in their parking, which includes the parking that's sort of directly in front of ours in a raised lot, your car's probably already been towed. So you're going to want to go verify that and find your car. They are very serious about that. Furthermore, here at the warehouse, if you parked along the west wall of the warehouse building, and here, I'll take a second. Let's hear it for these little ones. We got some people coming on around with some of that merchandise. Hoot and holler, get up, wave at them, let them know if you want to get yourself a little bit of swag. And we've got it. It's been tossed. Anyhow, meanwhile, if you're parked along the west wall of the warehouse, meaning if you circled the warehouse and then are parked along the warehouse wall along the back side of the warehouse, not along the fence, but along the wall. If you've parked along the wall, again, your car will be towed. So you need to get out there and move it immediately. So there's no parking in the dispensary, and there's no parking along the wall of the warehouse, the back side of the warehouse. We greatly appreciate your assistance and helping keep us cool with our neighbors.
Here we go, the fourth and final quarter of this game. We've got Vava Doom taking that jammer line for the Coffin Draggers up against Milani Mangler for the Brides. Milani Mangler able to get out there in turn one. Vava Doom coming up on some strong defense with Annihilation and Lightning towards the front. Vava Doom trying to get past Lightning the Queen. Lightning delivering some pretty hard hits up and down the track. Milani Mangler taking a hit to the infield from Craven, up and out again.
Vava Doom now able to exit the pack, so she is out and clear. Milani Mangler catching up now, trying to deal with those two Coffin Draggers blockers out in front of her. Milani Mangler knocked down to the infield there, trying to get up on the track and call it off, and she is able to do so. 10-point jam for the Runaway Brides there. Takes the lead to 156-79 here in the early going of the fourth quarter. Setting up the jam, it's going to be Little Bo Reap for the Runaway Brides. For the Coffin Draggers, it's Tyranny.
Looks like we've got penalties on both sides. 2 blockers from each team.
It looks like it's actually going to be a power jam. Indeed.
Yes.
So we are underway. Tyranny now doing the power jam thing for the Coffin Draggers.
Tyranny able to push Hollywood out of play towards the front. Kelly trying to fight her way up so that the pack won't be split and they can continue to block Tyranny. Tyranny is able to get past Hollywood. They're out of play towards the front.
Tyranny now down the back straightaway again up to the front of the pack and again running squarely into Hollywood, who's up there with Goldie Blocks blocking the way. Tyranny's got 15 seconds left in this power jam, trying to sneak her way by along the inside and able to miss a crushing block from Hollywood. And Tyranny out of the pack now and will be coming around and try to pick up a few more points here. And Tyranny able to weave her way past everybody. We'll wait for the official score there, and indeed, Tyranny got all 15 of those points during the power jam. 15-point power jam for the Coffin Draggers.
The score now 156-94.
It's going to be Craven Cadavers jamming for the Coffin Draggers, and for the Brides, it's Ellie Mayhem.
Looks like Hollywood is going to be sitting in that penalty box for blocking out of play 2 times. Goldie Blocks breaking out of that pack there in turn 1 with Craven half a track behind her.
And a bunch of bodies taking a tumble there in the front straightaway. Lightning McQueen throwing herself in there and clearing some space out. For her jammer coming on through was Ellie Mayhem picking up those points. 2 points also for the jammer for the Draggers. They're able to pick up a couple points on the back end.
Looks like Ellie Mayhem committing an arms penalty during that last jam. She's going to be sitting in the penalty box. Power jam for the Coffin Draggers.
Indeed, indeed. It's another power jam for the Draggers, and we'll see if they can duplicate the last one and get a bunch of points on the board. It's going to be Victoria Van Gore doing the honors. Right up to the back of the pack. They have pulled off the star cover. Everybody's seen it by now, so I'm not telling any secrets. Trying to get through there, and all I see is Victoria Van Gore ricocheting back and forth like a pinball. To the outside she goes, and she's going to put that star cover back on, and she's clear of the pack with 38 seconds to go in the power jam.
Victoria Van Gore coming around to score some points. Meanwhile, we see an accordion happening here with these 2 teams. Front team trying to speed up the pack, back team trying to keep it nice and slow. Gore trying to pick up some points for her team. Panda's able to collect a goat here in the back. Draggers did a great job of keeping Goldie Blocks back while Gore tries to fight that front defense of Brides.
And she's able to get by the 2 blockers that were still in play. 1 more blocker on the front end out of play, so Gore able to get clear. Just a couple seconds to go here in the jam, and that's going to do it for the jam clock. Indeed. We will wait for the official score from the scorers. That is going to take the Coffin Draggers over 100 points. It's a 5-point power jam for the Coffin Draggers. 160-101, Brides on top.
Watermelon taking that jammer line for the Runaway Brides up against Craven Cadavers for the Draggers.
Craven Cadavers throwing a shoulder into Watermelon, trying to knock her off stride. And now Craven Cadavers to the front of the pack, and she's clear of the pack and is your lead jammer for the Coffin Draggers. Watermelon still tangled up and back. I see bodies on the ground. That happens in roller derby.
We've got Craven coming up on some Bride defense while Watermelon breaks out of that pack there in the straightaway.
So Watermelon clear of the pack as well. Craven Cadavers still trying to complete her scoring pass. Gets on by Novocaine and calls off the jam.
We've got Milani Mangler taking the jammer line for the Brides up against Victoria Van Gore for the Draggers.
It looks like we are going to have an official timeout, so the regulators are going to square away some of the action there in that last jam. And while they're working on that, we're going to work on some of our sponsors here for the league. Don't forget, between the bouts, our food trucks outside are fully operational and ready to serve you some goods. We've got the Off the Hook Taco Truck. It's a locally owned and operated taco truck serving SoCal and Baja-inspired cuisine. They not only have fish, they also have chicken and vegetarian options available as well. You can visit them outside for some delicious food.
That blocker box is looking a little bit light. Looks like we're going to have 2-on-2 blockers with Milani Mangler jamming for the Brides and Victoria Van Gore jamming for the Draggers. Both jammers breaking out of that pack. One on the high, one on the low. Jammer race, and Gore calls it as Milani got way too close for comfort.
So we'll set up again for the next jam. That is going to be Watermelon for the Runaway Brides and Craven Cadavers for the Coffin Draggers. Tightly bunched pack, a whole lot of people out there, not many penalties called in that very brief jam that just happened, and escaping from the pack is Watermelon. Watermelon out and clear now as we approach 8 minutes to go in regulation. Craven Cadavers out of the pack as well for the Coffin Draggers. And Watermelon calls off the jam, approaching a large cluster of Draggers skaters.
Looks like Watermelon was able to pick up 2 points during that jam. Brides are going to be down a blocker for this next jam. Militia on the jammer line for the Brides up against Skeletina for the Draggers. 3-on-3 in that blocker box. Wait, the Draggers are also down a jammer. Looks like it's going to be a power jam for the Brides.
So that is Militia out there doing the honors, and Militia is clear of the pack with 50 seconds to go here in the power jam.
Militia able to skate right on through that pack. Draggers are now in the front, however, and they are splitting that pack, doing the accordion, trying to increase the speed of that pack towards the front. Meanwhile, the back team is trying to slow the pack down. Militia able to break out there on that high side and pass that last blocker. Panda, as she comes around for more, she's got plenty of time to make it around one more pass. Militia able to skate right on through that pack, and that's the end of that jam. Able to pick up 15 points.
So just over 6 minutes to go in regulation. It's Brides 177, Draggers 104. Setting up for the next jam, it's Vava Doom for the Coffin Draggers. And it's going to be a power jam for the Coffin Draggers. Penalties getting sorted out, and Little Bo Reap pulled down from the track and becomes just a regular blocker. So Vava Doom all by her lonesome now on the jammer line. And it's a power jam for the Coffin Draggers as we get set here.
Vava Doom doing the honors for the Draggers. Trying to get through this pack here on that low side at first. Annihilation not letting her out of this pack. Vava Doom trying to fight her way. She's the only jammer. She breaks out on that low side in turn 1. Coming around to score her points for her team. Vava Doom going down alongside her teammate. Meanwhile, Annihilation and Luxbreaker trying to keep her on the front side, but they are out of play. They have to let her go. She's got 23 seconds left in the clock, which is plenty of time to go around. One more turn. The Draggers doing a great job of keeping Goldie Blocks in the back as a goad. Trying to split that pack and keep it nice and slow, but they attack with some very good offense here as their jammer approaches. Bride's doing a great job of recycling to the front to keep her in and keep her from scoring. And that's the jam. See how many points Vava picked up for her team. Vava Doom picking up 7 points for the Coffin Draggers.
So setting up to jam now is going to be Skeletina for the Coffin Draggers, and for the Runaway Brides, that appears to be Watermelon, indeed.
Looks like the Draggers are going to be skating light, down 2 blockers, and the Brides down 1 blocker. 3 on 2 with the Brides' advantage. Watermelon able to run out on that inside.
Big collision there with Skeletina ending up on the track surface. The freshly painted track surface, doesn't it look nice? It looks beautiful. Our league staff painting that thing a couple weeks ago. Meanwhile, there goes Skeletina now out of the pack for the Coffin Draggers with Watermelon starting her first scoring pass. And Watermelon gets through, waited patiently for her blockers to open a lane, and then she was on through that pack.
Looks like Lightning the Queen is going to be sitting for an above the shoulders during that jam. They're going to be down 1 blocker.
It's going to be Little Bo Reap jamming for the Runaway Brides. And then for the Coffin Draggers, that is Victoria Van Gore.
Victoria Van Gore trying to find her way through that pack and is able to get out on 1 skate in that turn. Meanwhile, the Draggers doing a great job of keeping Little Bo Reap in on the backside as Gore approaches for her first scoring pass.
Little Bo Reap able to exit the pack just in front of Victoria Van Gore. Victoria Van Gore is trying to see if she can get by her. Victoria Van Gore signaling to call off the jam. Threw her hands up and said, "It's me." And the jam is called off before any points got scored. So now lining up to jam, we've got 2.5 minutes to go here in regulation. It's going to be Militia for the Runaway Brides. And then that is Skeletina for the Coffin Draggers.
We've got a blocker down for the Draggers and 2 blockers down for the Brides. 3 on 2. Militia trying to get past Panda, unable to get out on that low. Militia able to run out on that high side as Skeletina approaches for her first scoring pass.
And Skeletina goes ahead and calls it off after picking up 3 points. 181-118 is your score as we are under 2 minutes to play. It's going to be a power jam for the Coffin Draggers here.
Victoria Van Gore doing the honors for the Draggers during this power jam.
Victoria Van Gore trying to go right up the middle just with brute force and shove those blockers out of the way. Gets them pushed out of play, and she's able to get on through with 45 seconds to go in this power jam. And Victoria Van Gore up to the high side to pass that first wall. Now meeting up with that second wall of Runaway Brides blockers. They have recycled in front of her, so she's trying to find her way through. Here comes the Draggers offense. Trying to open up some space for her as best they're able. And they've got one pinned in behind them. And Victoria Van Gore goes ahead and calls off the jam after picking up a few points. So they're going to try to get up there and reset for one more jam here.
Our 50-50 raffle is at $750. Make sure you're buying those 50-50 raffle tickets so that you can go home with half of that.
Lining up now for what may very well be the last jam of regulation. That's going to be Skeletina for the Coffin Draggers and Watermelon for the Runaway Brides. Skeletina up to the high side, able to find an avenue, and she is right through and out as your lead jammer. So Skeletina, lead jammer for the Coffin Draggers as the clock ticks down to quadruple zeros. Watermelon out of the pack as well. That'll do it for regulation time here in this bout. So this is the last regulation bout. And Skeletina calls off the jam after picking up some points.
Wondering if that was the last jam of this game. Right now the score is 187 to 127 in favor of your Runaway Brides.
Referee's now going to talk this one over. There will be more action if there were penalties called on the team that's ahead, but no penalties on the team that's behind. But that did not happen. The penalties did not line up that way. And with that whistle, head referee Lollipop has signaled the end of this game. Your Runaway Brides, defending league champions, take the victory 181-1.